were there, so now it's like a 5-minute match when you do jiu-jitsu in most competitions, but back then were there time limits and was it the similar sort of rule set that you have now, or?
Like I remember when I started, the you had 2 points for passing the guard and three for the knee ride.
Mm,
And for some reason, they realized that it's a lot harder to pass a guard than to put a knee on the stomach of the person after you pass. So they turned
switch it,
inverted,
yeah.
switched that. And I remember also we didn't have advantages.
Mm,
And actually was better without advantages because I'm totally against the concept of advantages. We don't see that in any sport whatsoever. You don't, if you hit the goal post in football, it's not a half goal.
yeah.
If the goalkeeper puts out the ball, it's also not a half goal.
Mm,
Like in jiu-jitsu, you almost pass the guard, then you have half point.
mm,
Like not a half point, but you have an advantage.
mm,
And I don't know, I find it wrong totally.
yeah.
You know, like I find that you reward things that shouldn't be rewarded because it's just too little. You know, you almost pass the guard, you almost swap the guy, and you almost submit, but you didn't submit.
Mm,
So you didn't actually score points against the guy, but you still can win. Okay, I think you should actually, in 90% of the matches, the referee could be able to look at two fighters and in the end of the match say who won clearly
judge, yeah.
without even counting points or anything.
Mm,
And on those 10% cases, I would be favoring an over, how do you say, like another 2 minutes or 3 minutes,
overtime.
an overtime with with a golden goal,
Mm.
instead of advantages.
First one to points wins.
Yes.
Because jiu-jitsu is as much about defense as it is attack as well. So you might almost get a submission, but the guy defending, right, is just as good defending it than the guy that was going for the attack.
Exactly. I understand that you have to reward the attacks, not the defense, but it's wrong to reward the failed attack. Because if I almost catch your arm, but you defend it, it's a failed attack. I shouldn't be rewarded for a failed attack.
So like when you were showing us last weekend, triangle defense,
Yeah.
there's varying stages of triangle defense, and the last defense that you were showing us is when the triangle's on.
Yeah.
And then there was the escape to that. So in this instance, the triangle would be on, it would be almost a submission, but it's the hardest technique. It's the hardest to get out of once it's on, obviously.
Yeah.
So for you being in that triangle or in that armbar, whatever it is, for you to get out of it once it's on is actually, there should be an advantage almost in your favor because it's tougher to get out,
It's true. It's
and
true.
you're not the one failing the submission. But I guess maybe they want to push the action or something
Yes.
like that,
Yeah, but the advantage actually, if you think of it, doesn't push the action because if before the guy would stall after scoring 2 or 3 points, now he stalls after two advantages.
Right.
You know, if the guys are equal in points and you have one extra advantage, if you know how to use the time in your favor, you can stall a lot without being how to say,
Punished.
with punished, and that's it. You can get away most times.
But in ADCC, I think if you stall, they give you negative points, right? So then I guess that's kind of a solution to it.
Yeah, but then in ADCC you have two rules. Basically, you have no points, and then after the half of the time, points. And then makes the strategy very funny, and people become strategy dependent to win. I think the ideal way for a DCC would be to either have no points whatsoever or points from the beginning. Because you see the guys have some strategy to either go quickly or just stall until the points are on. So like I'd like to think that it's not the best. All the rule sets have flaws, and it's good that we have different ones so people can test themselves in different rule sets, don't get attached to one. But in the end, I don't know. It's not the way I would see grappling competitions. Like the way they have those rules is not the way forward. They should actually move the rules. That competition is the most popular ones because obviously they put a lot of money on that competition, and it's once every 2 years. That's why it's so much prestige to win that.
Yes. I guess there's no real sort of perfect formula for competitions.
There is no perfect formula. Another thing I would like to see in ADCC is that everywhere has an uniform instead of being able, because nobody does it, but you're allowed to come with a gi if you want to ADCC, or with totally, not totally naked, of course, but you
Yeah.
don't need to
No
to
shirt or
have
anything.
shirt, and then you get sweaty. It becomes a lot difficult for the guys to put you down. So maybe you are a good wrestler, you can use a strategy just to get a takedown, stand up again, stall a little bit, and not get taken down. You win many matches. You don't need to really engage.